Morning everybody. It's Wednesday the 8th of January, so it's the third day of the 10 kilometre challenge, and I've got a route in mind as usual, and so I'll film little bits of it and come back to you progressively along the way. So I've got a couple of 100 metres to go, make a left hand turn up the top here. As you can see, it's pretty grey and overcast again today. Funny weather for January. I've made that left turn. I'm heading in an easterly direction the next little bit, heading towards a highway. Coming up on the highway here, I think even its proper name is called Cowper Street here. It's the road that you come through Goulburn, takes you south to the Federal Highway Canberra or the Hume Highway in Yass. Making a right turn here onto Clinton Street and going east for a block, and then making another right turn, making that right turn, going south for about a block, and then making a left turn. I made that left turn on the right hand side here, Goulburn South Public School, on the left hand side, Goulburn Scout Hall. So straight ahead, then a bit of a dog's leg, straight ahead again into Sloane Street. There'll be a map at the end so you can follow all these streets and turns. I'm making a left turn on Sloane Street heading north. This is going to be the longest section. But I'm going to break up a bit by crossing the railway line just up ahead a little bit, just because it's there and I can. I'm crossing Sloane Street, head towards the railway station just directly ahead, and there's a pedestrian bridge that goes over the railway line. Probably picking up a bit of wind noise from the microphone at the moment. Directly ahead is East Grove. Coming up on the right here is the Goulburn Men's Shed, and directly ahead Blackshaw Road and the path along the Mulwaree River. I'll be crossing back over the railway line in a couple of 100 metres. I'll come back to you when I'm there. Coming up to the level crossing of the railway lines again. It's Blackshaw Road, directly ahead here. And make a right hand turn and go along Sloane and Grafton Street for about a kilometre. I'm on Grafton Street, which is a bit of a time capsule of Goulburn's history, in that lots of houses along here have got little plaques in them somewhere, in the front yard somewhere. You can read about the house and what it's been used for over the decades. This goes for about a kilometre. That's the end of Grafton Street. This is now Street, and then around the bend I think it becomes Union Street, and then you get there, around that bend you get the Sydney Road, make a right hand turn and run for another kilometre or so. I'll come onto the Sydney Road going north. I've got about 1 kilometre to run the turnaround point. I'll come back to you when I get there. Almost to the turnaround point here. I want you to notice this road work up here. The road was under construction and work for months and months and months. And what we have to show for it is this strip here and some plastic barriers mark a roundabout that's yet to be built. And it seemed to me that it was a solution in search of a problem. In other words, people would come here down from Sydney or coming into town. They knew they wanted to go to McDonald's, just turned off and went in here. And now we've got a roundabout, and a temporary one, and a whole lot of disruption, and probably $1 million or so spent already, and the roundabout isn't even built. But I'm sure the people who are doing all the work know what they're doing. So we're 6.8 kilometres in, and I'm on the return trip now. I'm back at the Sydney Road intersection. This is Lagoon Street, it's now called. I'm heading south at 8.2 kilometres in. I figure you're probably going to get a bit more than 10 today, but hopefully not too much more than 10. Hopefully no one's planning their training schedules around these runs, because this bloke can't work out how far 10 kilometres is. Anyway, I'll keep going and come back to you in a little while. I'm going to get off the main road and go up here. This is Citizen Street. A couple of 100 metres up here to the next intersection is of any consequence. This is the intersection of Burke Street and Victoria Street behind me, and Citizen Street to the right. And I go up here about 100 metres to make a right turn. I clocked over the 9 kilometres back to the intersection of Citizen and Auburn Street. You'll see that on the map if you get to the end of the video. Come on. This is a very quiet street with some very historic homes in it. I can't remember the name of the street. Some of the homes in this houses in this street are quite historic. Probably can't see them all that well in the video behind shrubbery and trees and so on. The street we just come off is called Beppo Street, and this here is Cowper Street. And I'm crossing now. You can see directly ahead there on the right one of our more glamorous historic homes. I think it's called Hurstville, but I'm not sure. Around the corner and up the Bradley Street hill. I just curse myself when I take this route, because you can see it's a bit of a steep rise, but I feel I have to test myself on it on a regular basis. So here we are. and I made it to the top and just clocked over the 10k, so I reckon there's about another 800 metres or so, and it might end up with an extra k. This street coming onto is Prell Street, P-R-E-L-L, like the oval in Victoria Park. A quiet street you only come into if you live here, or you want to find parking for the hospital, which is directly ahead. I'm going south on Albert Street towards Victoria Park. On the left hand side is the hospital, the right hand side Goulburn High School. This new building down the end here is ANU, Rural Medical Training Facility, or some mouthful name like that. It's basically for training doctors who are at the ANU Medical School. So I guess they come over here and do some of this consulting work or something or other. But I'm in Victoria Park at 10.5 kilometres, and I reckon there's about 500 or 600 metres to go. So you will get an extra kilometre in today. I'm about the middle of the park. You can see the new gazebo to the left there, and behind it the red bridge over there, ornamental pond, that's been closed off for about a month since it was put there. Perhaps they're going to have the grand opening on Australia Day or something. And it seems to be just sitting there doing nothing at the moment, rather than being open for pedestrian traffic. We're almost at the end, 11 point something kilometres, coming out of Victoria Park, crossing Mona Street, 50 or so metres past the Gracie Baru to the finish line. We'll just keep going. And done. Activity saved 11.27 kilometres in 1 hour 14.48 at a pace of 6:38. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the least direct route to get to McDonald's at North Goulburn, and I'll see you tomorrow.